And after Sundance, Keira Knightley hopes nobody will view her as just a corseted damsel type after seeing her as a young contemporary American with authentic-sounding accent opposite Adrien Brody in the psychological thriller The Jacket.
The fact of the matter is that as an actor, what you want to do is change. I don't want to play the same character for my entire career. That would be supremely boring.
Keira Knightley starring in a new psychological thriller which had its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival.
It's a very, very dark kind of psychological thriller. So no, it's not action at all. In fact, it's about the only film that I didn't have to do anything like that in. It was great. I had to do a bit of running, but apart from that, no, it's very dark. It's kind of a bit One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, kind of Jacob's Ladder vibe. So yeah, totally different, which is good.
She plays opposite Adrien Brody in The Jacket, a dark story about a military veteran's journey into the future.
I've seen a time that's not this time.
Jack Starks can foresee his death and traverses back and forth through time, confused by what he should do to free himself and others from their doomed destiny.
I'm Jack Starks.
Jack Starks is dead.
Another of Hollywood's busiest actresses, Keira Knightley, will next be seen in the psychological thriller The Jacket. Adrien Brody is the Gulf War veteran who's been committed to a mental institution where drugs administered by Dr. Chris Christopherson propel him into the future. That's where he meets Knightley, but also discovers he has just 4 days to live. Clearly a convoluted plot, but Keira suggests that's no bad thing.
The thing about this film is that it asks the audience to think, which is actually pretty rare in cinema today. It doesn't offer it to you on a plate.
You'd think the in-demand Knightley would have been a shoo-in for the role, but director John Mabry wasn't necessarily keen.
He said, I don't want you for the role, and there's been a lot of hype surrounding you, and I don't know if you can act, is the main thing that really hit home. And so I said, well, listen, at least let me read. And he said, well, there's no point because I really don't want you for it. And I said, no, listen, I'm going to be stuck in corsets for the next 20 years if you don't let me read now. So I did, and he offered me the part. Where he maybe, perhaps, but maybe not, travels forward in time to 2007. Where he meets my character, who is at that point nearly an alcoholic waitress.
What year is this? 2007. What?
Who informs him that actually he's going to die in about 5 days' time.
I'm Jack Starks.
Jack Starks is dead.
So they then have to try and find out exactly how he dies in 1992.
I met you.
If you like Adrien Brody, Jennifer Jason Leigh and Keira Knightley and enjoy non-linear storytelling, then the new psychological thriller The Jacket may be just the thing for you. Laura Metzger reports.
Jump on in.
Set in 1992 rural Vermont, The Jacket revolves around Adrien Brody's character Jack Starks, a veteran of the Gulf War who suffers from amnesia. Upon returning home, Starks helps a young girl and her mother who are stranded by the roadside.
What are these?
Those are dog tags, in case I get lost.
It's the movie's one calm moment before the storm, because very soon Starks finds himself accused of killing a police officer and committed to a psychiatric ward for the criminally insane.
He's not mentally insane, and nor did he have any recollection of his involvement with the murder, and so it's essentially, and then once he's in the institution, it's about him kind of being treated by a doctor in a very extreme manner.
I don't belong here. Neither of us can do anything about that now.
And that's where The Jacket comes in. Starks' treatment involves experimental drugs and prolonged stints locked in the morgue, confined by a straitjacket.
You're suffering from delusions. Don't act like I don't know what's real.
It's a harrowing journey for Starks to discover who he is and what he may or may not have done. He's a blank slate, and Brody says that's an appealing character to play.
So you're okay?
You tell me, Doc. You think there's something wrong with me?
You're a little underweight.
Maybe I'm working it off in my dreams.
And he's not really defined by anything like race, ethnicity, personal beliefs, religious beliefs. None of it is really relevant. So in a sense, he's kind of the everyman, which is another kind of rare opportunity for an actor.
It's in the jacket that Starks discovers he can travel to the future. There he meets Keira Knightley's character Jackie. She happens to be the young girl he helped along the side of the road, now all grown up. She tells him he's going to die in 4 days, and together they race to save his life, change Starks' past and Jackie's future.
Do I know you?
I think you do.
You're his son.
Not his son.
Confused? You're not the only one. Jennifer Jason Leigh, who stars as one of the ward's more humane doctors, tries to explain the film that seems to defy any one genre.
What year do you think it is now?
Delusional. I know it's 1992.
The movie is a bunch of different genres, really, because it's kind of a thriller, and at the same time, it's sort of this love story, this romance, and then there are these weird supernatural elements. It's kind of inverted, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, it's sort of all over the map.
While the filmmakers may have seen this as a selling point, it doesn't seem to be turning out that way. Critics fault the film for its cliched script, unnecessary subplots, and overly splintered storyline.
I have to find out how I die. I gotta get back in there.
Then again, films with fractured narratives like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Memento have proven themselves popular, and The Jacket could win audiences by association.
There was a Dr. Becker. He was using some kind of behavior modification on his patients.
I kind of like those movies, you know, like I'm a big, huge fan of Jacob's Ladder, for example, and Memento, and I enjoy being active as an audience member and participating, because so often you're ahead of a movie, and so I like having to sort of piece things together and figure out what's real and what isn't real. It makes it, for me, more fun to be in the audience sometimes.
The Jacket is quite a big deal for British actress Keira Knightley. She plays a modern woman, very different from her roles in Pirates of the Caribbean and King Arthur. And it's the first film in which she spouts a very convincing American accent. Talking Movies has been hearing from the engaging Keira Knightley.
She's very young, but getting a lot of attention. Jackie, the woman she plays in The Jacket, is self-destructive, on the verge of becoming an alcoholic.
Maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
The outwardly breezy Keira Knightley is playing a woman in the midst of darkness.
I think that anybody tells you that they haven't been to those dark places is a liar. You know, I think we all know what it's like, and so it was a fascinating process of actually, instead of running away from depression and loneliness, actually confronting it and looking at it as an emotion and trying to work out, you know, how I could take from my own experiences and put it into this character. So, I mean, it was an incredible experience for me.
Was it hard to get the American accent right? Because you really do a pretty good job.
I had an amazing dialogue coach, really amazing, called Julie Adams, and we worked for about a month and a half before we started filming. And it was interesting because when I had an idea, you know, of what the accent was like in my mouth and all the rest of it, but I always just tried to lay it on top of my own English voice, which just doesn't work. And it was fascinating kind of working with her, and the director wanted me to have a much lower, kind of huskier voice, so I worked with Julie to really lower my tone, to be a lot more breathy, and then to get this kind of Vermont accent. So it was hard to. The hardest thing was to lower my own voice.
In case you hadn't figured, it's Christmas Eve. You're never gonna get a cab here.
Thanks.
You got somewhere you need to go?
You know, cynical people might say that the reason why you did this role and did an American accent was so you could get more work in Hollywood. Is there any truth to that?
I suppose there's an element of truth to it, yeah. I mean, absolutely. If you can do an American accent as a British actor, then the likelihood is that at least more work will be open to you. The fact of the matter is that as an actor, what you want to do is change. I don't want to play the same character for my entire career. That would be supremely boring. I don't want to, and as a British actor in Hollywood, you get typecast very easily if you're lucky, but if you can possibly avoid being the kind of plucky British broad for your entire life, then I do want to do everything I can to fight against that and play as many different characters as possible.
Knightley is not a newcomer. She made her first feature film more than 10 years ago. Her 2003 role in Pirates of the Caribbean showed she could flourish in a Hollywood blockbuster. She also starred last year in King Arthur. The film foundered at the US box office, but her performance as Guinevere was alive, quite memorable. You are a really good actress, at least in my humble opinion, but quite a few people don't think you can act. Where does that view come from, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's fair enough. I haven't completely proved myself as an actress. I think you do Hollywood films or big budget kind of your Pirates of the Caribbean, King Arthur's. What they want is absolute perfection. It's a dream. It's a total dream. So therefore, the makeup is always perfect, the hair is always perfect, and in a way, what you are is a face and an unreal being, which is fair enough. And my God, I love going to the cinema and watching that and this total unreal world. But I think to actually prove yourself as an actress, you have to touch on a reality, and sometimes that's a harsh reality, and sometimes it's a fairy tale reality. But the whole point is to try and get everything, and as long as you get truth in what you do, in the scene that you do, then I don't think as an actor you can do more. You can't do more. All you have to do is keep seeking for the truth. Now, hopefully, I'm going to keep growing and keep getting better, because I'm never satisfied with what I do, and I think probably I'd agree with my harshest critics.
You are fairly new to the game as an actress. Do you find at times when you're on a film set or when you're milling around in film activities where there are a lot of people from the film business that you get intimidated in a way?
No, you can't. You can't get intimidated when you're on a film set, because you're there to do a job. And I mean, obviously there's a moment when you walk onto any set and you just go, oh, I'm going to die, I can't do this, why am I here, why am I here, why am I here? But you have to get over that pretty quick, and I think that actually the whole job of being an actress is to convey nerves into something more positive, into a performance, and that's what you do. But you can't let anything like nerves get in your way, because otherwise you're not going to do the best job that you can.
But do you ever screw it up?
All the time. I'm a human all the time.
You got somewhere you need to go?
Yeah, I do.
Keira Knightley hits the screen in her first American role, but she almost didn't get the part.
He just told me that he didn't think that I could act and that I was completely wrong for the part, and he desperately didn't want me in my movie, and I just sort of went, well, okay, seeing as I've come all this way, can I at least read for you? And he went, well, yeah, but really there's no point. And I read for him, and he didn't say anything, and I got up to go, and then he went, all right, here's my number, and I'll see you on set.
Next up for Keira, the sequel to Pirates of the Caribbean.
I haven't started filming yet. I start probably tomorrow. Of course my character's going to grow, but it's all going to be good. It's going to be very, very exciting.